You do not manifest a lottery win by chance, nor by effort, nor by hoping something magical will happen if you're just lucky enough. Manifestation begins and ends in one sacred place, within. Everything you desire, everything you strive to achieve in the world already exists within your imagination. The lottery win is not won outside first, it is won in the inner man, in the theater of mind. Until you can accept that truth, you will chase shadows. To manifest the lottery win, you must begin with the end. You must start from the place of already having received, not wanting, not desiring, not praying in desperation, but from fulfillment, quiet, confident, complete. This is the key. You imagine not the process of buying the ticket, nor the announcement of the numbers. You do not imagine watching the drawing with anxiety. That is not how you manifest. You go far beyond those things, straight into the moment after the wish has been fulfilled. You feel the victory. You hold the check. You sit in your new reality, not as a fantasy, but as a present truth. You walk around your home knowing it was purchased with your winnings. You hear the voices of loved ones congratulating you. You check your bank balance and smile at the 8 figures. It must be lived in imagination so thoroughly, so vividly, that the subconscious accepts it as your current state. The outer world is only a reflection of inner states. You do not manipulate the outer by force. You impress the inner by feeling. The subconscious does not care whether something is real or imagined. It only responds to what is felt consistently and sincerely. So the question is not, did I win? The question is, can I feel now what I would feel if I had already won? And when you answer that question with your body, your senses, your breath, and your state of being, you have begun the true act of creation. For the true prayer is not words, it is assumption. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are no longer bound by the facts of the world. You rise above them. You transcend time and cause. You plant the seed in consciousness, and as surely as night follows day, it must come to pass. This work is not about wishing. It is about knowing. Knowing what? That your imagination is reality, that it creates, that it governs the movement of events, that your thoughts are not idle, but acts of creation. So the lottery is not won at the machine, nor through the numbers. It is won in the stillness of your mind, in the clarity of your inner seeing. Do not confuse visualizing with daydreaming. Visualization must be done with feeling. It must carry the weight of truth. You must convince yourself, not with arguments, but with sensation. If you cannot yet believe you've won, then imagine what it would be like if you did. Play the game, pretend, until pretension becomes experience. The imagination, when persistently occupied, becomes indistinguishable from fact. The body begins to respond, the mind begins to shift. Your thoughts, choices, and actions change. The world bends. Many ask, but how can I believe something that has not yet happened? And the answer is, you already do. Every fear is a belief in something that hasn't happened. Every doubt is a loyalty to an outcome you do not want. You've been using your imagination all your life, but against yourself. Now you are to use it with intention, with mastery. Choose the scene that implies your success. One scene, simple, clear, and final. Perhaps it's holding the winning ticket. Perhaps it's signing the papers at the lottery office. Perhaps it's celebrating with your family. Let that scene become your dwelling place. Return to it every day, especially in the state between waking and sleep. Let it feel familiar. Let it feel normal. The extraordinary becomes ordinary through repetition. As you persist, the outer world begins to reflect the inner. You may notice small shifts at first. Perhaps a conversation, a sign, a synchronicity. These are not the result. They are echoes of the change within. Remain faithful. Do not check the soil to see if the seed is growing. Trust the process. Remain in the assumption. Live in the state of the wish fulfilled. You do not need to know how the wind will come. That is not your task. You do not force the bridge of incidents. You trust that the universe, the subconscious, the deeper self, whatever name you give it, will orchestrate the details. Your only task is to remain loyal to the end result, to walk as though it is already yours. And when doubts come, and they will, you do not fight them. You replace them. You return to your scene. You fall asleep in the feeling of fulfillment. You discipline your mind, not with effort, but with love, with a desire to remain true to your inner world. That is how a lottery is won, not by chance, but by assumption, not by wishing, but by knowing, not by chasing, but by becoming. The winner is not someone out there in the world. It is you in consciousness. Now, the moment you claim it. There is a story behind every fortune, a story not of numbers or tickets, but of inner conviction. Long before the world saw a check for 68 million, long before the flashing lights and cameras and the formal congratulations, it was already mine. Not in the outer sense, not in the physical world, but in the deeper realm where all things begin, in the quiet sanctuary of imagination. I had already lived it 100 times. I did not wait to see it before I believed it. I believed it and then I saw it. This is the law. There was a moment, clear and sacred, when I stopped asking how it could happen and simply assumed that it already had. Not as a dream, not as wishful thinking, but as a fact of my internal experience. I closed my eyes and let the world fall away. I shut out the news, the odds, the statistics. I let go of logic, for logic deals only in what already is. Creation begins in what could be, if only we dare to accept it as done. Each night as I lay between sleep and wake, I would enter the scene, not just any scene, but the scene that implied I had already won. It was always the same. I could feel the paper in my hand, the weight of the check. I could hear the stunned laughter of a loved one. I could see my name on the screen. I did not try to convince myself with words. I did not repeat affirmations endlessly. I simply entered the state, the feeling, the knowing. I wore the state of a winner like a coat, not because the world called me one, but because I had chosen to see myself that way. The world had not yet changed, but I had. And that is the only change that ever matters. For when you change your internal state, the external world must conform. It has no choice. It is your servant, your mirror, your echo. I stopped talking about lack. I stopped complaining about odds. I stopped acting like someone waiting for good luck. I began to move differently, to speak differently, to think and feel and respond as the one who already had it all. There were moments of doubt, of course. The old self, the one who believed in probability and effort and waiting, would rise up. But I would not fight it. I would not struggle. I would simply return to the scene, return to the inner victory. And there, in that place, I would find peace again. Each return made it more real. Each repetition impressed the feeling more deeply. It was no longer imagination. It was a state of being. Some asked me later, what was your strategy? They wanted numbers, routines, systems, but there was no strategy. There was only alignment. I aligned myself with the version of me who had already won. I removed the gap between desire and possession. I lived from the end, not toward it. I claimed it in consciousness, and the world eventually bowed to that claim. When the moment came, when the numbers were announced and the ticket matched, I was not surprised, for the outer experience had only caught up to what I had already seen and felt. The physical was delayed confirmation of a spiritual fact. I had already celebrated. I had already cried. I had already spent the money in my imagination. I had already lifted my family into a new life in my mind. The world was only catching up. I did not need to analyze the mechanics of how it came. That is not my concern. That is not the domain of the conscious mind. My task was to occupy the state. The how came through natural means, small nudges, intuitive choices, a whisper to buy a ticket on a particular day at a particular place. These were not accidents. They were part of the unfolding, part of the bridge of incidents that connects the inner world to the outer. People assume such events are rare, impossible miracles, but they are only the result of faithful inner work. They are evidence that consciousness, when persistently held, must become flesh. It was not the ticket that changed my life. It was the decision to be the version of myself who no longer needed the wind to feel wealthy, secure, and abundant. The outer wind followed the inner conviction. The outer event was drawn to me, magnetized by the state I dared to dwell in. I lived as the man who had already won, and so the world had no choice but to deliver the picture I had so consistently painted within. If you hear this and think it is magic, you are mistaken. It is law. If you think it is luck, you have missed the power you hold. There is no one chosen above another. The only difference is inner alignment. I decided to claim my desire as already mine, and that decision, when backed by feeling and persistence, made all the difference. The story of my 68 million is not about money. It is about realization. Realizing that the world is not happening to us, it is happening through us. It is shaped and molded by the states we occupy. And any state, once fully accepted, must express itself. That is the truth behind the story. That is how the lottery was won. There is a simple truth about manifestation that few truly understand. You do not manifest something you want. You manifest what you believe you are worthy of. The lottery win, or any other desire, is not something outside of you. It is simply a reflection of your inner world. It is the result of the assumptions you have about your life and your ability to receive. When you understand this, you will see that winning the lottery is not an extraordinary event reserved for a select few. It is the natural outcome of aligning your internal state with the reality you wish to experience. Many spend their lives trying to figure out how to manifest a specific event, like winning the lottery, without ever understanding the deeper principle that makes it possible. The secret to manifestation lies not in the ticket you buy, the numbers you pick, or the place where you purchase your lottery slip. The secret lies in your inner world, the unseen realm of thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. The lottery win is not something that exists as a separate external entity that you have to chase or attain. It is a state of being, and that state is yours for the taking when you choose to assume it. What do I mean by this? It is not enough to want something. Wanting is rooted in lack. It implies that you do not have what you desire. If you enter the process of manifestation with the thought, I want to win the lottery, you are already reinforcing the idea that you are without it. This thought is the very opposite of what you need. You must assume the feeling of already having won. You must live, act, think, and feel as though you already possess the prize you seek. The first step is to see yourself as the person who already has the money, the success, the freedom. Feel it. Don't just think it. Live as though it is already true. This is not an act of imagination alone, but an act of deep emotional involvement. You must step into the experience with full conviction, for only when you feel the reality of the win can you bring it into the physical world. It is this emotional involvement that gives power to your assumption. Without it, the manifestation remains a distant fantasy. Once you can assume the state of already having won, you will begin to notice shifts in your outer world. These shifts may be subtle at first, a conversation, a sign, an opportunity. Do not dismiss them. The world responds to the state you hold within. Every movement in the outer world is simply a reflection of the inner world. As you remain in the state of the wish fulfilled, everything in your life will begin to shift to align with that state. The people, events, and opportunities that match your inner assumption will begin to show up in your life. It is important to understand that these shifts are not the manifestation itself. The manifestation is not the physical lottery win, the check, the bank deposit. The manifestation is the inner transformation you undergo when you step into the state of the person who already has. When you truly accept that you are worthy of receiving, you begin to live from that place, and the world must adjust to accommodate your new self-image. In order to manifest a lottery win, you must first release the belief that it is unattainable. You must stop seeing the lottery as something that happens to others, but not to you. This belief in separation, the idea that some people are lucky while others are not, only serves to keep you trapped in a state of lack. When you assume the feeling of already being the winner, you dissolve this illusion of separation. There is no difference between you and the person who has already won. The only difference lies in the state they are occupying. By assuming the state of the winner, you are no longer waiting for luck to find you. You are the luck. You are the creator of your own reality. Your feelings are the key. You must train your emotional state to match the state of having already won. Do not wait for the outer world to tell you that you have won. Tell the world you have won, and let your feelings follow. Feel what it would be like to have everything you desire. Feel the joy, the peace, the satisfaction. Feel the relief, the sense of freedom. Your feelings are the bridge between your imagination and the material world. The more you practice living from the state of having already won, the more your reality will conform to this state. The world will tell you that the lottery is a game of chance, that only a few are chosen. But you know better. You know that nothing is left to chance. All that you need to do is to believe that you are the one who has won. When you live as though you already have, you close the gap between desire and fulfillment. The world will catch up. Your mind, the universe, and the laws of attraction will conspire to bring your vision into form. When you assume, you become the magnet that draws your desire to you. And remember, the moment you assume the feeling of already having received, you have won. You may not yet see the physical evidence, but you have won. It is only a matter of time before the physical world reflects your inner state. As long as you remain faithful to your assumption, as long as you continue to live as the winner, the outer world must yield to your inner reality. The process of manifestation is not about effort or struggle. It is about acceptance, accepting that the desire is already yours, and acting as though it is so. The law of assumption is the most powerful tool at your disposal when it comes to creating the life you desire. When you understand the law of assumption and how to wield it, nothing is beyond your reach, not even the wealth that seems so far removed from you. Money, success, and prosperity are not things that are given to a few, nor are they rewards for good behavior. Money is an energy, a force that responds to the state you hold within. If you wish to manifest money, you must begin by assuming that you already have it. The law of assumption works in the simplest of ways. You assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The moment you assume something as true, it begins to shape your world. This is not about hoping for something to happen. It's not about waiting for conditions to change. It's not about asking or wishing. It's about assuming fully and completely that what you desire is already here. In the case of money, you do not assume that you will get money. You assume that you already have it. You must live in the end. Live as the person who already possesses the wealth you seek. You cannot wait for the external world to reflect your desires before you claim them. This is where so many people go wrong. They wait until they see evidence in the outer world before they believe it is possible. But this is the wrong approach. The world does not give you what you see, it gives you what you believe. It gives you what you assume to be true. When you assume the state of already having money, you are shifting your consciousness to the frequency of abundance. You are no longer identifying with lack, with the belief that you need to work harder or struggle more to attain wealth. You begin to live as if money is already a natural part of your life. You do not beg for it, nor do you plead for it. You do not worry about where it is coming from or when it will arrive. You simply live as the person who has it. You imagine yourself in possession of the money, and you walk, talk, and think as though it is already yours. The key to this process is not in the words you speak, but in the feelings you carry with you. Words alone are not enough. It is the feeling that makes the assumption real. Feeling is the language of the subconscious. When you begin to feel what it is like to have money, to live in prosperity, to experience the freedom and security that comes with wealth, your subconscious mind will accept it as truth. And once the subconscious accepts it, it must become reality. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is imagined and what is real. It only knows that it must fulfill whatever it is given. If you find it difficult to assume the state of already having money, begin by imagining small amounts of money first. Do not begin by imagining large sums if your current state does not allow you to believe it. Start with a smaller, more believable sum. Imagine that money coming to you. Feel the joy, the sense of freedom, and the relief that comes with it. Allow yourself to experience the feelings of having money, no matter how small. Once the subconscious mind accepts that you can have money, it will gradually allow you to move toward greater sums. The process is the same no matter the amount. It is only the assumption of already having that creates the reality. The law of assumption works because it bypasses the conscious mind's resistance. The conscious mind will argue with you, telling you that you cannot possibly have what you desire. It will point to the evidence of your current circumstances and say, see, you have no money. You are not wealthy. You will never be wealthy. But the moment you assume the feeling of already having wealth, you silence that resistance. You do not argue with your circumstances. You do not try to change the outer world first. You change your state of mind, your assumptions about who you are and what you deserve. The outer world will shift to reflect your inner state. One of the most important aspects of using the law of assumption to manifest money is to remain persistent. You must not allow the outer world to shake your faith in your assumption. The law does not work by fleeting thoughts or occasional beliefs. It works when you make the assumption and hold it steadily, unwaveringly, for as long as it takes for the outer world to catch up with the inner. When you persist in your assumption of already having money, no matter what the outer world shows you, the world will ultimately conform to your inner state. This process is not about effort or struggle. It is about faith in your assumption. You must feel the wealth as real before you see it in the material world. The law of assumption is not an act of doing, but of being. You must be the person who already has what you desire. The more natural it feels to be that person, the more quickly the manifestation will appear in your life. Your assumption is the key that unlocks the door to your desired reality. You are not waiting for something to come to you from outside yourself. You are simply allowing what is already yours in the unseen world of imagination to manifest in the visible world. The moment you assume the state of already having money, you begin to draw it toward you. The universe, or whatever name you give to the force that governs all, will begin to rearrange circumstances, people, and events to bring your assumption into physical form. All you need to do is persist in your assumption and trust that it will appear. The more you align yourself with the feeling of already having money, the quicker it will show up in your life. There is a fundamental truth about belief that many fail to grasp. The power of belief is not about hoping something will come to pass. It is about knowing that it already exists, and that the process of manifestation is simply the unfolding of what is already yours. Belief is the internal mechanism that aligns you with the reality you wish to experience. When it comes to manifesting something as seemingly external as winning the lottery, your belief is the most crucial factor in the entire process. Belief is not something you cultivate through force or repetition. It is something you cultivate by choosing to live in the assumption that what you desire is already true. It's not about affirming or wishing for something. It's about accepting the truth of it. The belief in something is not a mental exercise. It's an emotional and spiritual practice. You must feel that your desire is already fulfilled. The moment you believe you have won, the world will begin to reflect that belief in ways you cannot yet imagine. Most people approach manifestation from a place of seeking, of desiring, and of hoping. This approach always falls short because it assumes a lack. If you want to manifest money, you cannot live from the place of wanting money. You must live from the place of having it. The key is to align your belief system with the idea that the money, the lottery, the wealth, or whatever it is that you seek is already yours. The moment you make that belief real to yourself, your reality must adjust to match it. There is no other way. The universe operates under the principle that what you believe to be true must be made true in your world. The power of belief does not come from the conscious mind, but from the subconscious. The conscious mind is full of doubts, questions, and contradictions. It does not believe easily and requires evidence before it accepts anything as real. The subconscious mind, on the other hand, is not concerned with evidence. It is concerned with feeling. If you can make the subconscious believe something through consistent emotion and assumption, then that belief will become reality. When it comes to manifesting money, you must learn to bypass the doubts of the conscious mind. You do this not by fighting them, but by fully immersing yourself in the assumption that you already have what you desire. Your belief in the possibility of winning the lottery must not be rooted in the conditions of the outer world, but in the certainty that the prize is already yours. Your belief is not a fleeting thought. It is a conviction, a knowing. This knowing cannot be shaken by what you see in the outer world. Even if the outer world seems to contradict your belief, you must remain unwavering in your assumption. The beauty of belief is that it works whether you believe in limitation or in abundance. The world simply reflects the inner world, so if you believe that winning the lottery is impossible or unlikely, the world will reflect that belief. But if you believe that it is already yours, if you believe that winning is as natural as breathing, the world will begin to shift to accommodate that belief. The key is to align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the belief that what you desire is already on its way to you. In order to believe fully in your manifestation, you must live in the feeling of the end result. You must live as the person who has already won. It's not enough to believe that you will win someday. You must believe that you have won now. The feeling of having the money must become natural to you. You must imagine yourself in possession of the lottery prize. And as you do, feel the emotions that would accompany such a win. Feel the freedom, the excitement, the peace. Feel the joy of knowing that all of your dreams are now possible, that all of your burdens have been lifted. This is the state you must occupy, not in some distant future, but right now. Once you step into this state, belief will no longer be something you have to work on. It will become natural to you because you will be living in the assumption that your desire has already been fulfilled. The world, as it always does, will respond to this assumption by bringing you closer to your desired reality. You may not see the results immediately, but trust that the seeds you have planted in your subconscious are beginning to sprout. The law of assumption does not work on the basis of time or space. It works on the basis of belief, and belief is a powerful force that will bring you everything you desire. People often ask, how do I believe when I have no evidence? The answer is simple. You must create your own evidence through belief. Belief is not about waiting for the physical world to provide you with proof. It's about making the belief real to yourself first. You must be willing to live as though the lottery prize is already in your hands. And in doing so, you make that belief the most important truth in your life. When you believe, everything else must follow. The moment you accept that you have already won, the outer world must adjust to match that assumption. This may happen in ways you do not expect. or in small, seemingly insignificant steps. But rest assured that the manifestation is already in motion. The process is inevitable. It may take a day, a week, or even a month, but as long as you persist in your belief, your desire must come to fruition. You are not waiting for the outer world to change. You are creating it with your belief. Your belief is the force that drives everything in your life. If you believe in scarcity, you will experience scarcity. If you believe in abundance, you will experience abundance. The power lies not in waiting, but in believing. When you believe that the lottery money is already yours, you have already won. The power to manifest anything, including winning money, is found in one simple yet profound practice: the ability to remain faithful to your assumption, no matter what your current circumstances may suggest. The external world often acts as a mirror, reflecting back what you believe to be true. It's easy to become discouraged when things don't seem to be aligning with your desires right away. But the real work of manifestation is not in making things happen. It is in staying true to your belief, even when the outer world appears to contradict it. To maintain belief and stay faithful to your assumption, you must understand that the external world is not the source of your manifestation. It is simply the reflection of your inner state. Everything that happens in your outer life is a result of your internal assumptions. If you desire to win money, you must remain unwavering in your assumption that it is already yours. You must not be swayed by what you see or experience in the present moment, for the present moment is merely the effect of your past beliefs. The future is being created by what you believe now. The process of manifestation requires persistence. It is a state of inner conviction and consistency. If you wish to manifest something like winning the lottery, you must live as though it is already true. This is not something you do once or twice and then wait for results. It is a continuous daily practice of living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The key to staying faithful to your assumption is to immerse yourself in the belief that what you desire has already happened. You do not wait for external evidence to tell you it is real. You must first make it real in your inner world, and as a result, the outer world will begin to reflect it. You must protect your belief at all costs. The world will try to distract you with evidence to the contrary. The conscious mind will bombard you with thoughts of doubt, fear, and disbelief. It will show you every reason why it's impossible, why it hasn't happened yet, and why you shouldn't expect it to. But this is where your faith comes into play. You must not allow the distractions of the outer world to shake your belief. The moment you let go of your assumption and allow doubt to take hold, you weaken your power. Your belief, when maintained faithfully, is the force that shapes your reality. Every moment you choose to remain faithful to your assumption, you are strengthening the connection between your inner world and the manifestation of your desires. Staying faithful to your assumption requires discipline. But it is a discipline of the mind and emotions, not of the body. The body may still experience the world of effects, but the mind must remain fixed on the assumption of the end result. You must choose over and over again to live as though you already have the money, the wealth, the success. This is the feeling that must permeate your thoughts and actions, regardless of the external circumstances. Your mind and emotions must be in alignment with the reality of your desire being already fulfilled. When doubt arises, and it will, you must remind yourself that the process of manifestation is not based on time or conditions. It is based on your inner state. You must choose to believe in the unseen, in the future that has not yet appeared in the material world. Just because you do not see immediate results does not mean your assumption is failing. It simply means that the outer world has not yet caught up to the inner world. The law of manifestation operates with certainty. It does not operate based on the speed of your results. What you believe, assuming you persist in that belief, must become your reality. In order to maintain your faith, you must also embrace the idea that your desires are already fulfilled. You cannot wait for the lottery to show up before you feel the relief, joy, and freedom of having won. These feelings must be real to you now. This is what sustains your belief. It is not enough to wish or hope for something. You must feel it in your very being, as though it has already happened. The more you align yourself with the emotions and feelings of having won, the more quickly the physical world will reflect that inner state. This is the essence of manifestation. The feeling of having the desired result before you physically see it. You may also find that as you stay faithful to your assumption, external circumstances may appear to get worse before they get better. This is a normal part of the process. Sometimes, in order to bring about the fulfillment of your desires, certain things in your life must first be rearranged. This rearranging may not always look pleasant in the moment, but it is simply a clearing of the way for your manifestation to appear. Trust the process and do not be disheartened by what seems like a delay or difficulty. You are not seeing the full picture yet, but your faith must remain unwavering. Remember, the outer world is just a reflection. What you see is not as important as what you believe. As you continue to stay faithful to your assumption, your belief will begin to create a momentum of its own. You will begin to notice small signs, subtle shifts, and opportunities that align with your desired reality. These are not coincidences, but the result of your unwavering faith. The law of assumption is not bound by time or space. It works when you remain fixed on your assumption, regardless of the circumstances. The more you stay faithful to your belief, the quicker the universe will respond, adjusting and arranging all things to bring your desired result to you. The key to staying faithful to your assumption is not to be concerned with the how or the when. The manifestation will come to you in the perfect way and at the perfect time. Your job is not to figure out how it will happen, but to remain true to the assumption that it already has. When you stop questioning and start believing, you allow the process to unfold naturally. The world will adjust to your assumption and the results will appear, often in ways you could never have anticipated. Visualization is one of the most powerful tools you possess when it comes to manifesting anything, including winning the lottery. To visualize is not simply to picture an image in your mind. It is to experience with every part of your being the feelings, the sights, the sounds, and the emotions of the desire fulfilled. When you visualize, you're not merely imagining something, you're living it, as though it is happening right now. The mind does not distinguish between what is imagined and what is real. The process of visualization allows you to plant the seed of your desires deep within the subconscious mind, where it begins to take root and grow. The true essence of visualization is to feel as though you already possess what you desire. Many people make the mistake of visualizing from a place of lack or desire. They visualize because they want something, but this approach often perpetuates the feeling of not having. To manifest the lottery win, you must approach visualization differently. You must visualize from a place of already having. Imagine yourself already in possession of the money. See yourself living your life as you would with the lottery winnings already in your hands. Feel the freedom, the joy, and the sense of security that comes with this new reality. The key to effective visualization is emotion. It is not enough to see yourself holding a lottery ticket with the winning numbers on it. You must feel the emotions that accompany winning. How does it feel to have your dream realized? How does it feel to be free from financial worries? How does it feel to be able to make any choice you desire without constraint? These emotions must be vivid and real to you in the moment of visualization. Your subconscious mind responds to emotions more strongly than it does to mere mental pictures. When you connect the image of your desire with the feeling of already having it, you create a powerful magnet for your manifestation. Visualization works because it speaks directly to the subconscious mind, which governs your thoughts, feelings, and actions. The subconscious is not concerned with how things appear on the surface. It is concerned with the emotions that accompany your thoughts. When you visualize winning the lottery and you infuse that visualization with genuine emotion, you are impressing upon your subconscious that this is your reality. And as the subconscious accepts this new reality, it must express it outwardly. This is the law of cause and effect. The inner world creates the outer world. To begin the process of visualization, find a quiet place where you can relax and focus. Close your eyes and imagine yourself holding that winning ticket. Picture the numbers clearly in your mind. See them in bold, distinct figures. As you visualize, allow yourself to feel the emotions that would naturally arise upon seeing those numbers. Perhaps you feel excitement, relief, and joy. Allow yourself to really feel these emotions, not just on a superficial level, but deeply, as though it is happening right now. Imagine the conversations you would have, the people you would share the news with, the plans you would make, and the changes you would experience in your life. The more you engage all of your senses in the visualization process, the more powerful it becomes. Hear the sound of your voice as you share the news of your win with a friend or family member. See the smiles and reactions of those around you. Touch the money as it flows into your bank account or as you hold the large check in your hands. Imagine the smells, the sensations, and the colors of the new experiences you will encounter. The more vivid and detailed the visualization, the more real it becomes to your subconscious. This deep level of immersion impresses your desire upon the subconscious mind, which then begins to align your external world with this internal image. As you continue to visualize your lottery win, it is important to do so with unwavering belief. Do not let doubts or questions creep into your mind. You must fully embrace the idea that your visualization is not a future possibility, but a present reality. The subconscious mind does not operate on the basis of time. It only knows what is real right now. So when you visualize, you must do so with the absolute belief that what you are seeing and feeling is happening in this moment. There is no gap between your visualization and your reality. There is only the now. If you struggle with doubts or disbelief during the visualization process, remember that these are simply old patterns and beliefs from the conscious mind, trying to resist the change you are creating. Gently dismiss them and return to the feeling of having already won. The more you persist in this assumption, the more easily it will take hold of your subconscious mind. The subconscious is highly impressionable, and the more you visualize from a place of certainty and emotion, the more it will accept the new reality you are creating. It is also important to remember that visualization should not be a one-time practice. Visualization is a tool that must be used consistently and regularly. The more often you visualize your lottery win, the more it becomes ingrained in your subconscious mind. As your belief in the reality of your desires deepens, your external circumstances must begin to shift in alignment with that belief. The key is not to give up when you don't see immediate results. You are planting seeds in the fertile ground of your subconscious, and the fruit will ripen in its own time. The universe works in harmony with your inner state, and the more you live in the assumption of already having your desired result, the more quickly that result will appear. Visualization is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It connects your thoughts and feelings to the physical world, allowing the law of attraction to work in your favor. The more vivid and emotional your visualizations are, the more powerfully they will manifest in your life. By consistently visualizing yourself as the winner, you are creating an undeniable inner reality that will inevitably be reflected in your outer world. Your belief, bolstered by the practice of visualization, is the key to unlocking the lottery winnings you desire. One of the most important lessons in the process of manifestation is learning how to detach from the outcome. This might sound counterintuitive, especially when you are focused on a specific desire like winning the lottery. However, the truth is that attachment to the outcome can often create resistance that blocks the flow of manifestation. To truly manifest what you desire, you must reach a place where you no longer feel anxious or desperate for the result. Instead, you must trust that the process of manifestation is working perfectly, even if you cannot yet see the evidence of it. Attachment to the outcome is a form of resistance. It is rooted in the belief that your desire is separate from you and that you must chase after it in order to bring it into your life. When you are attached to the outcome, you are focused on the external world, and you allow the lack of visible results to disturb your peace of mind. You become anxious and frustrated, which only reinforces the belief that your desire is not yet realized. This anxiety and frustration create a vibration of lack, which sends a message to your subconscious mind that you do not already have what you desire. As a result, the manifestation process is delayed or blocked entirely. In contrast, when you detach from the outcome, you are able to release the need for external validation. You trust that the universe is already aligning everything in your favor. The process of manifestation is not about forcing the outcome, but about allowing it to unfold naturally. This trust in the process is a vital component of success. When you stop worrying about when or how your desire will appear, you open up the space for it to come to you effortlessly. The key is to remain relaxed and confident, knowing that the universe is already working behind the scenes to bring you what you desire. To detach from the outcome, you must first recognize that your desire is already fulfilled in the unseen world. You must stop thinking of your desire as something to be achieved in the future and instead treat it as a present reality. When you believe that what you want is already yours, you do not feel the need to chase after it. You no longer live in a state of lack or yearning. Instead, you live in a state of having. This shift in perception is crucial. When you assume that your desire has already been realized, you no longer experience a sense of urgency or neediness. You begin to experience the peace and satisfaction that comes from knowing that everything you desire is already on its way to you. Trusting the process also means trusting yourself. You must trust your own ability to manifest your desires, and you must trust that the universe will bring them to you in the perfect way and at the perfect time. Often, people become attached to specific details of how and when their desires will manifest. But this attachment limits the potential for the universe to work in ways that might be beyond your imagination. The universe is far more intelligent than the conscious mind, and it can bring your desires to you in ways that you have not yet conceived. When you detach from the outcome, you allow the universe to surprise you with new opportunities and possibilities. Detaching from the outcome does not mean that you stop caring about your desire. It simply means that you stop forcing it to happen. You release the need for immediate results and trust that what you want is already on its way to you. This trust is what keeps you aligned with your desire. When you no longer worry about when or how it will come, you free yourself from the mental struggle that often keeps people stuck in a state of longing. You become an open channel for the universe to deliver your desire without resistance. Another key aspect of detaching from the outcome is focusing on the feeling of already having your desire, rather than obsessing over the details of how it will manifest. If your desire is to win the lottery, focus on the feelings of excitement, freedom, and security that you would experience once you have won. Allow yourself to fully embody those feelings in the present moment, even before you see any external evidence of your desire coming true. The feeling of having your desire already fulfilled is the vibrational match to the manifestation. When you focus on this feeling, you align yourself with the energy of the desire, and this alignment is what attracts it into your life. Let go of the need to control the outcome. Often people feel they must take specific actions in order to bring their desires into being. While inspired action is a natural part of the manifestation process, the key is to act from a place of alignment and inspiration rather than from a place of desperation or need. When you are attached to the outcome, every action you take is fueled by the belief that you must do something to make it happen. However, when you detach from the outcome, your actions come from a place of ease and flow. You act when it feels natural and right, and you trust that these actions will lead you to the fulfillment of your desire. When you release attachment to the outcome, you create the space for magic to happen. You stop forcing things to happen and you start allowing them to unfold. This is the essence of manifestation. It is not about trying to control the universe, but about aligning yourself with the flow of life. When you trust the process, you are able to relax and enjoy the journey. You understand that the universe is always working in your favor, even when you cannot see the evidence of it yet. Detaching from the outcome also involves cultivating patience. Trusting the process means knowing that everything is unfolding in divine timing. The universe operates on its own schedule, and while it may take time for your desires to materialize in physical form, the process is always working. Every step you take in the direction of your goal brings you closer to its manifestation. You do not need to know how or when your desire will appear. All you need to do is trust and remain open to the possibilities. Ultimately, detaching from the outcome is about shifting your focus from lack to abundance. When you stop worrying about how or when your desire will manifest, you free yourself from the energy of scarcity and step into the energy of abundance. This shift in perspective is what allows your desire to come to you effortlessly. By trusting the process and releasing the need for control, you open the door to infinite possibilities and allow the universe to deliver exactly what you need. To conclude, the journey of manifestation is a profound and transformative process that requires understanding, practice, and trust. The key principles we have explored, detachment, faith, visualization, assumption, and belief, are the building blocks that will guide you toward your desires, including winning the lottery or achieving any other significant goal. By embracing these principles and integrating them into your daily life, you begin to reshape your internal world, which in turn creates lasting change in your external reality. The process of manifestation is not about forcing outcomes, but rather about aligning with your desires, embodying the feelings of already having them, and maintaining an unwavering belief in their inevitable arrival. The universe responds to the energy you project, and by staying true to your assumptions and visualizing your success, you program your subconscious to bring your desires into reality. However, the key to manifesting is not just in the thinking, but in the consistent feeling and the surrender of control. You must trust the process, detach from the outcome, and allow the universe to work its magic in its own time and way. Remember that manifestation is a journey that requires patience, faith, and perseverance. The more you remain steadfast in your belief and stay committed to the process, the more your desired reality will unfold naturally. Through this alignment, your desires will eventually materialize, often in ways more magnificent than you could have imagined. Trust in the laws of the universe and allow them to guide you on the path to your dreams. By living in the assumption that your desires are already fulfilled, you activate a powerful force that shapes your world in alignment with your highest aspirations. Ultimately, the practice of manifestation is about embracing the abundance of the universe and accepting that what you desire is already on its way. Let go of doubt, fear, and worry, and embrace the certainty that your desires are destined to come into your life. Stay faithful to your vision, trust in the process, and let the universe bring your dreams to fruition.